How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have more of the community question stuff for you guys, but this one is going to be pretty interesting, I think. Basically, for anyone who doesn't know, I put a question on my community section on YouTube. You guys come, vote on the poll, it doesn't really matter too much, then leave a comment down below on a answer to the question that I ask you. Today, I asked the question, what are some things that players should just not do in RuneScape 3? Now, I did say that these don't have to be specifically like mechanic based, so you don't have to just get into too much specific detail. And the example that I gave was don't get too focused on only making GP in the early game, because you're going to have to go out, level up all your other skills and stuff as well, build your account up. That's more important than just logging in as a level 3 and being like, right, I need to make 200k an hour, because it's just not worth the time. Right, so what we're going to do is go through your comments, have a look through what you've said, and then as always I will give a little bit of extra thought on those. Anyway, for anyone who is new to the channel, do subscribe, because there is a lot of you guys that return every single video, so do just click that subscribe button, because that way you get notifications more, you get it straight away, and also get in the Discord and get involved. There's a link in the description down below. Jump in the Discord and I will see you around. Anyway, guys, let's get going, shall we? Alright, so the first comment is from something like that. Don't burn yourself out by trying to do too much in too little of time. A suggestion I have is for anyone who enjoys the story of a game is just do quests. RuneScape has a pretty in-depth story, so progressing through all the different quests will make a lot of things fall into place naturally for you when you inevitably reach the end. This is a really good point, and I am probably not the person that can sit here and say everybody should definitely all do quests, but at the same time, I can say that because I know that you should. Like, quests are definitely good, and if you do like story and lore in games, if you're someone who came from Final Fantasy 14, for example, you will probably enjoy the lore in this game as well. That game is heavy on lore, and you guys all love it, and the story is something you guys are religious about. You will not let people skip that story, and it's all for good point. But this carries across to other games as well, and for other people that just enjoy lore and story as well. Jagex put a lot of time into the lore into this game. They really do. The quests are really good. They all lead into each other, and it's not just standard go out, kill this, come back with 5 freaking wolf pelts and hand them into someone. That is not the quest in this game. The quest in has story, it has background, it has lore. There is a lot to it, and I don't actually know most of it because I skip it all, and I really wish I hadn't, but it's kind of too late for me now, I feel. Maybe at some point we'll do something where I go through and actually pay attention to the story. If we ever get to a point where people will be interested in that, we'll just have to see. But if you are not rushing the game and you're just trying to sort of just enjoy it, and you are someone that enjoys lore, you should definitely not skip the story. Don't do that. Don't skip the story. Read it. Pay attention to the quests. Even if you're just skimming through it and getting the key points out of it, you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of doing this. This is a really good point, and I really agree. There's a good story in RuneScape which I feel like I've missed out on, and I kind of wish that I hadn't. So maybe you shouldn't do the same. This wouldn't apply to everybody, but it definitely would apply to quite a lot of people. Our next comment says, I used to be afraid of spending money on the buyable skills like prayer and herb lore, and would rather buy the next tier of weapon or armor. But those two skills, for overloads and soul split or turmoil, help you make money far faster than an extra 3 magic bonus ever will. This is a huge one. People do this all the time. So for new players, you don't want to avoid these skills. Herb lore and prayer, and probably summoning as well is another one you want to chuck in there, are expensive. They're really expensive, and it can be quite daunting to look at that and say, right, I've made my first 50 mil, and I could get 95 prayer with that 50 mil probably, if I do it in a slow method. Or I could just buy myself a nice upgrade with a couple of like a Swear Elder wand or something like that. Now, while that wand would be a great upgrade, getting 95 prayer would unlock Soul Split, it would unlock the Turmoil curses, so you can get Anguish as well. The magic one, I can't remember that, it's called Torment or something like that. These are massive increases, and they're permanent. The price of them aren't going to devalue either, so if you get a wand and then it maybe drop a couple of mil the next day, you've just instantly lost that value as well. But at the same time, these are going to be, you're going to be using these forever. Like, you are going to be using these forever. You're going to need that levels, and it is definitely going to help you out a hell of a lot. Soul Split is basically free health, which in the long run is going to give you a hell of a lot of reduction in use of food, which saves you a lot of money as well. I can't even imagine doing bosses without being able to use Soul Split here and there. It would cost a fortune in food. The amount of times I get through some kills and think, hey, I didn't even eat any food that kill. If I had, and I didn't have Soul Split, I would have been drinking brews back, which are 50k each. I would have been eating the freaking rocktails or the blue blubby jellyfishes, which are freaking expensive in themselves as well. And it does save you a lot of money, but it also increases your PVM damage a hell of a lot too. It's great for Slayer. It's just, these skills are amazing. Overloads, you're going to be using them 24/7. Yes, it is expensive to get to it, but if you save that money up for double experience, buy your stuff nice and early when the prices are low, and then during double experience, get those levels that you need. The same for summoning as well. It'd be absolutely worth it, and it will pay off in the long run. These 3 skills are expensive, like I say, but you don't want to avoid them. Don't avoid them. Don't just invest in other stuff. Get these skills done. They are absolutely worth doing. Alright, so our next comment is from Jim Bob the Wise. And honestly, I think this guy's pretty wise. He said, don't let others tell you how you should play the game. This one is another huge one. I say this every time. This is a big one. This really is, because this is something I talk about a lot. This is something that I have an issue with quite a bit as well. And it's something that I feel like just play your own game. You're playing a game. In this game, there's a lot of people that will tell you how you should be playing. You have to do this, you have to do that. This is the only way to do it. Because the game's been around for so long, and we've built a community that is very interested and set on the ways of being the absolute most efficient at doing stuff. People have grown up with the game, people have got older, they have less time, so in their eyes, they have to do it in the most efficient way. But if you're not the sort of person that doesn't enjoy doing that, if you're not the person who really just only wants the absolute best possible kill times at a boss, for example, which is probably the best example I could use, if you're not fussed about that, just like me, then just do whatever you want to do. You could take switches and flanking and all that sort of stuff when you go to a boss to increase your kill time. You can definitely do that. But personally, I don't do this because it's just not for me. There's nothing wrong with doing that. If that's what you want to do, if you get enjoyment out of doing that, if you get that satisfaction of when you get to the end, you notice you've knocked another 20 seconds off of your kill time, or you're just competing with the top freaking people for kill times as well, or you've just got the fastest kill time out of all your friends. If that's something that you enjoy about the game, holy hell yes, you should do it. That is definitely something you should do. But at the same time, this applies to both sides as well, by the way. If you're the sort of person who pushes this on people too, you should really take into account that maybe someone else doesn't want to do this. But if you are someone who is like me and would just like to get a average kill time, which isn't ridiculously slow, it's fine, it's good enough. You don't want to take flanking because it's another switch that you can't be bothered with, and you just want to get through the fight. It's as chill as possible, you're enjoying it, you're having fun. That is absolutely fine as well. Play the game the way you want to do. However, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't give or take advice from people. If people are giving you advice, they are trying to help you out, then you should definitely take that on board as well. However, if it isn't asked for, guys, if people don't ask for the advice, you don't have to force it on them. You can give a tip here and there. Oh, by the way, did you know about this? If they say yes, that's it, done. Don't say, yeah, well, you should be doing flanking and you should have to use that. If you're not doing that, then that doesn't matter. They don't want to do it. It's not affecting you. Let them be. Let them enjoy the game how they want to do. Guys, do not let other people tell you how you should play the game. Take advice, take tips, it's fine. But do not just do exactly what people say, even if you're not enjoying it, because that's what people are saying. Alright, so the next comment comes from one of my channel members, and it is from Sparty Pants. He says, one example I can think of is exclusively doing Elite Dungeon 3 trash runs to level combat from mid to max. You will not want to be training low level Slayer and max combat. This is so true. And this isn't even just about Slayer, right? It is a really good point, and you really shouldn't just focus on these trash runs. They're really good. I can see the issue with it. The experience that you get from them, the money that you get from them as a low level player going as a group with a couple of friends, you can make absolute bank compared to what you can make normally. And the experience is super fast. The only issue that you're going to get is I hear so many people do this and only this, and they get locked into it thinking there's not much point in me doing anything else because I can make 6 mil an hour here, or I can go there and make 3 mil an hour, get less experience. But then at the end of it, they've done that for about 3 months straight. They've got all max combat stats, they've done the range, magic, all of the melee stuff, and they quit the game. The reason they quit the game is because they don't have any knowledge of what else is going on around them. They don't have any motivation to go and learn stuff because in their head they're just thinking, I can do this, I can make more money, this is the only way to do it. And it not only just that, it's boring, you burn yourself out, you're fed up of it, and you don't want to face that freaking dungeon one more time. There's other ways to level in the game, and I actually would suggest you don't have to, just like the last thing, you don't have to always do the best, most efficient thing. You can go out and learn and enjoy the game. It is so important to do this. I always suggest to people to go out and do Slayer to level up their combat stats, and that is not just because it's efficient as well, because you're leveling Slayer and combat and getting charms and probably collecting bones for summoning. Like, there's so much stuff that you can do with Slayer. It all happens together, and Slayer is a brilliant way to push your combat up. But not only just that, it takes you around the world. You learn the different zones of the map. It is different. You'll get different tasks all the time, so you're not facing the same freaking backdrop of the game every single day, and it will just teach you about locations, about different bosses, the way that their weaknesses work as well. For example, some monsters you're not going to want to use magic at, you'd rather use range or melee, and it will teach you a lot about that. And then that will actually carry on further into the game as well. Slayer goes all the way to 120. There's a lot of stuff to learn, and it is definitely a lot better to do this. But not only just Slayer. If you want to do it in a different way, go and do it in a different way. Figure some of the things out, figure out what you enjoy more, and just do little bits here and there. But you pick lots of stuff up, do quests, do other stuff like AFKing in this place. Just mix it up enjoy the game. Don't only get yourself stuck in this dungeon. There's so many new players in this dungeon running through all day every day, and that is all they do. I've seen people log in as well, and they'll ask for a 83 trash room, and if it doesn't happen, then they just log off because there's nothing else to do. So they just log off the game, they come back later, ask again, and if it happens, then it does, and if it doesn't, then they'll come back again later. That is not a way you want to play a game. You want to enjoy yourself. Don't do this. The next comment is from Luigi6545, and you say, don't get absorbed into dailies to the point where it isn't fun anymore. I fell victim to that, and it's what made me stop playing years ago. I didn't play again until archaeology came out. Okay, don't get this one wrong. This is absolutely a great point, but at the same time, dailies are great. Dailies are brilliant. Dailies do a hell of a lot for you, but his point is spot on. You don't want to make your game just dailyscape. How often do you guys hear the term dailyscape? That is not a way to play a game. It's not dailyscape, it's RuneScape. Play the game you want to play. Right, I don't do dailies. I've never really done dailies. They've not really been anything that interested me. I think I've done a few in the past to get a few extra treasure hunter keys if that's what I needed. Like if there was a good promotion on and I was like, oh yeah, I could do a couple more keys for this, I'll do that. But other than that, like, there's so many dailies that aren't even just daily challenges that will be a thing that can take up a lot of time. Dailies can take hours. They really can. If you do every single daily, you can spend a lot of time doing them. And I know there's a lot of people who will play the game and they only get an hour or two each day. Like there's a lot of people that are like parents, like myself. I'm a parent and I used to not have much time to play this game. I had an hour here, an hour there. And if I was just doing dailies every day, like if I was just panicked that I need to do this daily and I haven't done this daily and this is just the best way to do it, I wouldn't have enjoyed the game, and I likely wouldn't have even started doing YouTube because I probably would have quit the game a long time ago. Do your dailies, they are good, but keep them on a balance. If you're getting fed up of them, just don't do them for a few days. Do something else. If you only have a little bit of time to play, maybe just pick a couple of things that are more valuable to your person at the time. Maybe it is better for you to go out and do your daily challenges for only smithing, for example, or only hunter. And then afterwards, you could then change that to your next goal. If you play 8 hours a day, and you have an hour or two just chuck away and do your dailies, then it is probably absolutely worth doing. But if you are someone who plays only very short amount of times, or someone who just doesn't enjoy doing dailies, don't get stuck into the fact that you should do all your dailies. People will tell you, do your dailies, do your dailies, do your dailies, and you should do them if you can, if you enjoy doing it. But if you don't, just don't feel like you have to. Just do what you want to do. The next comment says, don't compare it to old school RuneScape or how RuneScape used to be when you were younger. Enjoy the game at whichever speed is best for you, and don't get burnt out thinking you need to achieve goals faster than you can. Okay, so I'm actually just going to focus on the main bit here in this comment, and even though the end bit's pretty, like, it's really good, it is something that we've kind of talked about already, saying like don't let people tell you how to play it, don't get into certain things too much, and just focus on whatever you want to do. Like just take your time. So we're going to stick to the first bit which says don't compare it to old school RuneScape or how RuneScape used to be. There's a lot of people who return to the game and they'll come into the game and they'll go, don't like this, it's EOC, don't like it, it's crap, nope, don't like it. They won't try it out at all, and then they're missing out on a big thing. RuneScape 3 actually is really good, and there's a ton of people who actually come to the game from old school RuneScape and go, wait, I've actually missed out on quite a lot here. And I've seen plenty of people go the other way as well. Of course, people move back and forth for nostalgia to the old school RuneScape, and then they come back to RuneScape 3 for like the newer sort of modern feel and the new bosses and stuff. But RuneScape 3 has a hell of a lot to offer, but you need to kind of think of it as a new game. You've got the base core stuff of like leveling up your skills and what skills it is and the questing and the same sort of skills that we did have, like Slayer and all that sort of stuff, but you need to sort of take it in a way that is different to how it used to be. One, it's not going to take you anywhere near as long to actually level through stuff as it used to, so you can kind of get into the game a lot quicker. That's not a bad thing. You shouldn't look at that as it's devaluing your sort of experience and how you've gone through the stuff. You should probably look at it as a different thing, as maybe this is not the biggest sort of focus of the game anymore. The levels and stuff are great, but they are there at this point, I guess, to help you out on getting to the other stuff that everyone focuses on. The PVM, the bosses, the end game sort of stuff. They've just brought out a skilling boss, so there's plenty more skilling content coming out as well. And there's a lot more stuff to it than just, oh look, I'm maxed. Maxed is probably not that big of a deal anymore, but it is super useful to get, and it is a big deal for the people who are working towards it. What I'm trying to say is, it is not endgame. Max is not endgame anymore. There is so much after that, so you should definitely not compare this to old school RuneScape, because it is not the same game. It is just the same sort of base and foundations, and you shouldn't look in the past, because that's pretty much what old school RuneScape is as well, because the game's different. It's changed a lot, and you should take this as kind of like a new game. And if you do this, you may be able to get into a game that you really enjoy and you're not missing out on. Okay, so the next comment is another one that I love. Of course, I love all of these comments. It says, compare yourself to others. Instead, set your own goals and progress at a pace that feels right for you. Of course, this is don't compare yourself to others, because that's what the video is all about, right? So this is important, actually. This is actually quite important. Don't compare yourself to others in a negative way, okay? Comparing yourself to others to improve and get better at something that you want to do is completely different. What this person is saying is, don't look at what your kill times is at a new boss, right? You're going into a boss, you've just started Raksha, and you'd get like a 7-minute kill. That's pretty slow, right? On the average scale of things, it's pretty slow. But that's nothing you should worry about, because you're going to improve. You've just started, you have a long way to go. And if you compare yourself to the people who have an Eldritch crossbow and they know exactly how to use it, and they get through that in like 2 minutes, 20 seconds or something like that, and you're like, oh, I'm doing 7-minute kills, man, and they're doing a 2-minute 20, and then you actually take a look and realize that you've got freaking Shadow Glaives and they've got an Eldritch crossbow. That's one big difference. But two, they've probably got about 1,000 kills. They've got a hell of a lot more kills than you have, a lot more experience in PvM because they've put a lot more time in, and there's a lot of difference to it. You shouldn't compare yourself in a negative way, in the way that like you're looking at them going, oh, I'll never be that good. That is not the way to do it. And not only that, like this person said, set your own goals and progress at a pace that feels right for you. You don't have to compare yourself to someone who's leveled up ridiculously fast. They may play 10 hours a day. You only may play 3. You're not falling behind. You're just doing it at your own pace. It's a game at the end of the day that you should play in your own pace, your own way, and just enjoy it along the way. You don't have to just rush all the way to endgame. There's a lot of stuff to enjoy on the way. Honestly, there really is. But on the other side of that, you should compare yourself to others in a way that you want to improve yourself at. And what I mean by this is, look at what other people do, and then if you want to learn on it, then you can do that. But just realize that you have to actually learn those steps. It's not just look at what they do and suddenly you're going to do it. It took them a long time to learn it too, it probably at least, and I know that it does for me as well. But I will look at people that are better than me at the game and I will see, right, this is what they're doing and this is something I can learn on. And I'll practice that rather than just going, oh, they've got 20 seconds faster kill time than me, I'm shit at this game, I quit. If you are going to compare yourself to someone, do it in a way that is positive, do it in a way that you can learn from it, and just remember that you shouldn't compare yourself in a bad way, because if you do, in fact, not if you do, just don't do it. Alright, so that is going to bring us to the end of this video. I am sure that you guys have probably realized that a lot of this stuff in here wasn't necessarily like the actual specific things that you may have expected, but I feel like these are important things to do as well. And as you guys know, a lot of my stuff is focused around newer players too, because one, I really want to get a lot more people into this game, and I want to see people grow, and I want to see people enjoy the game and actually get into it and stay in the game. Of course we do. That's just what's good for the game as well in the long run. But for you guys that are actually aware of all this stuff, you've been around for a long time and you just know full well like pretty much most of this stuff, get in the comments and share other stuff. These don't have to necessarily just be the same sort of topics as what I've talked about as well. Anything at all. If you could think of anything that would help out a newer player, or anyone, even not just newer players, if there's something you can say, don't do this because that's going to help someone else out, get in the comments, share that, and people really do appreciate it. I appreciate it because I scroll through those, and even if I cannot reply to every single comment anymore, I do try my best. But even if I don't, I'm still reading through them all. Trust me, I'll scroll through, I'll read them all. And when you guys share stuff in the comments that help other people, not necessarily just something targeted me, that is, like, I love it. It is brilliant. You guys are helping other people, each other out, and it's just amazing. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. You press the like button and you help me out that way. It helps with the algorithm, all that sort of good stuff. And also, if you did enjoy the video and maybe you want to check out another one, then do also click the subscribe button too, because I will be posting more stuff. I post almost every day. And like I say, a lot of you guys come and watch all these videos. Maybe you don't realize it's the same person. Click the subscribe button, because if you're not subbed, it doesn't make sense not to be. Just click it. You're going to watch my next video anyway. YouTube tells me. But in all honesty, if you did enjoy the video, also subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I just wanted to say thank you to my channel members for all the extra support. I really appreciate all the extra support you guys do provide, and for anyone else that is interested, you can actually get some perks while supporting the channel if you're interested. Just click the join button by the subscribe button and you can get a list of all the perks that you do get, like early access to videos and stuff. And so like I say again, it's just really appreciated. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later guys. Bye.